Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we are opening up a declassified dossier on an absolute underground legend. If you've ever found yourself navigating that fascinating intersection of counterculture history, early internet nostalgia, and, well, hardcore botanical science, you are absolutely in for a treat today.
Our main focus today is answering one very specific question. Who exactly is the world's most elusive secret high agent, James Bong? We're cracking open the bizarre and highly detailed world of a spy who successfully packaged a comprehensive, remarkably accurate guide to marijuana entirely inside a campy espionage parody. And look, this isn't just some retro joke. It's an incredible time capsule. By using the framework of a secret agent thriller, this creator managed to deliver a surprisingly dense curriculum covering organic chemistry, agriculture, and complex drug policy to an audience that probably would have just tuned it out otherwise.
So the James Bong persona boasts a truly hilarious origin story. It was created by an author writing under the pseudonym Aruka Q. Waga. And get this, what started as a simple artistic development plugin for the Winamp media player on early PCs, sparked by a low-res comedic picture of Homer Simpson, quickly spiraled completely out of control. It evolved into a dedicated website, and from there, it blossomed into this massive psychedelic underground survival guide titled James Bong's Ultimate Spy Guide to Marijuana. Realizing that, back then, not everyone had internet access to gather this highly sought-after information, the author decided a physical book actually had to be born to bridge that massive information gap.
Which brings us to the man himself, Agent James Bong. He's an operative driven by a singular, unforgettable motto, Orbis terrorumus non altis satis, which translates perfectly to, the world is not high enough. This motto brilliantly encapsulates his dual identity. He isn't just a parody of an action hero. He's part suave international spy, part dedicated horticulturist. He's framed as the ultimate protagonist, desired by women, admired by men, and literally always ready to help people grow better bud, disseminate crucial medical information, or even help build sustainable structures out of isohemp. Let's dive right into Section 1, Inside My High-Five Intelligence, the Agency and the Mission.
You can't have a legendary spy without a shadowy agency and a formidable enemy, right? Bong works for Mi-Hi-5. According to the lore, this agency was supposedly run in the 1960s by a mysterious hippie known only as C. Mi-Hi-5 operates as a secret intelligence collective, dedicating all its resources to fighting the anti-hemp establishment, ominously referred to as the Man. But their tactics aren't violent at all. They secretly work with hemp organizations worldwide to peacefully convince the Man to legalize, or at least decriminalize, the weed. They even take credit for inspiring Bob Dylan's famous lyrics about everyone getting stoned, which completely grounds this wild parody in actual counterculture history.
Now, to pull off this massive, global, peaceful resistance, the agency relies heavily on specialized roles, equipping their operatives with incredibly specific skill sets. You've got the analysts, who are trained in computer use, accounting, law, and forensics. Then you have the farmers, who must master the green thumb, complex hydroponics, and soil techniques. And then, of course, you have the secret high agents, like Bong. They are rigorously trained in concealment techniques, martial arts, sneaking, and highly specialized courses like Talking with Police 101 and its crucially necessary advanced counterpart, Talking with Police While High.
Moving on to Section 2, Gadgets and Tradecraft, Tools of the High Spy.
Take this tactical masterpiece, for example. It's a standard, sharp gray business suit that seamlessly converts into a green, hippie poncho, complete with a sunflower pin. It's specifically designed for sudden, unpredictable undercover work. This sheer practicality allows an operative to blend into a corporate boardroom 1 minute and just completely vanish into a drum circle the next. It's the perfect blend of classic spy tropes and incredible stoner ingenuity.
Then there is the absolute piece de resistance of the Mi-Hi-5 tech division. This is James Bong's digital watch, permanently set to 420, of course, but it secretly doubles as a highly discreet vaporizer. Notice the intricate details here. It features a concealed smoke chimney and duct, a built-in battery to power the heating element, and a swivel line port, complete with a tube and mask clip. It is a wildly creative, James Bond-esque gadget engineered specifically for botanical consumption on the go.
He even had access to specialized field concoctions like Love Potion #9. Priced at a modest $20 in the guide, this was a potent THC extract mixed with water and special herbs, packaged securely with a heat-shrunk medical seal. Its strictly stated purpose? to increase libido for both men and women while out in the field.
But look, gadgets mean absolutely nothing without tradecraft. Bong adhered to strict rules of concealment to avoid drawing the attention of narcs and police. The guide literally tells readers to act normal, don't be overly helpful or aggressive. It warns them to dress normal, noting that if you dress like a hippie, you are going to be harassed by police. It advises operatives not to be heady, meaning just don't draw attention to yourself, and really emphasizes controlling your non-visual appearance, primarily the distinct smell that can instantly give you away. This is the core of who James Bong really is. The persona isn't just a gag, it acts as a very practical, real-world survival guide for advocates, completely disguised as a joke. It provided genuine operational security for a marginalized culture.
All right, let's look at Section 3, the science of espionage, botanical intelligence.
Moving past the gadgets, Bong's intelligence briefings detail the actual complex molecular structure of cannabis. It goes incredibly deep into delta-9 THC, carefully noting that hemp contains over 460 known compounds, with more than 60 of them sharing a typical 21-carbon structure. The guide meticulously explains that THC is highly sensitive to light and high temperatures. It must be actively protected from air and stored in a dark, cool place to maintain its potency. The author even goes so far as to provide the exact molecular weight and boiling point. Underneath all the jokes, this is a seriously dense educational text.
And it's wild to see how the guide also meticulously maps out other compounds like CBD, further grounding the entire parody in real, peer-reviewed botanical science. The highly detailed visual renderings of these molecules in the text are designed to actively educate a fairly informed individual, showing the exact chemical makeup of the very resource Bong is trying to protect.
This brilliantly contrasts the psychoactive properties of THC with the medicinal, non-psychotropic benefits of CBD. The intelligence briefings clearly explain that while THC provides the psychotropic high, CBD offers sedative, analgesic, and antibiotic properties. It is essentially a stealthy, highly effective chemistry lesson expertly hidden inside the pages of a spy manual.
Which brings us to Section 4, Tales from the Field, a close encounter.
To see how all this tradecraft and botanical knowledge works in action, the source text provides a thrilling short story of Agent Bong out in the concrete jungle. The story goes like this. One night, young James Bong is walking down a quiet street, having just relaxed and rolled himself a giant 3-paper joint. He wanders up a sharp, unstable timber ramp, taking a quiet moment to internally critique the city's glaring failure to build this public infrastructure out of long-lasting, reliable hemp. Highly intoxicated, Bong pauses right at the top of the ramp, tilting his head back to take one final, very deep puff.
Stepping onto the street above, he lowers his head and finds himself looking directly at a police car, literally 1 foot away. Panic immediately sets in, but Bong relies entirely on his Min-Hi 5 spy training. He perfectly executes his act normal concealment protocol. He simply turns his head, secretly stashes his massive joint and paraphernalia, and stands there acting completely natural for a few agonizing moments while the police car finally makes a slow U-turn and drives away into the night.
And here is the punchline. In a stroke of quintessential James Bong irony, he gathers his thoughts and realizes that if he hadn't stopped to get high and take that very last, lingering puff on the ramp, his timing would have been slightly different, and he would have walked directly in front of the speeding police cruiser. That last puff literally saved his life.
Ultimately, the James Bong persona was a genius delivery mechanism. The author managed to take a dry, comprehensive guide about plant taxonomy, organic chemistry, and nuanced drug policy and make it wildly entertaining. By wrapping the cold hard facts in an engaging spy parody, the creator successfully snuck vital knowledge into a demographic that might have completely rejected a dense academic textbook. The medium truly was the message.
Which leaves us wondering, was this just a quirky internet artifact from the early days of Winamp and web forums, or a brilliant blueprint for how to sneak true education past the walls of prohibition? As we close this dossier, ask yourself, when complex, heavily stigmatized information needs to be shared, sometimes isn't a great story the absolute best disguise of all? Thank you for joining me on this explainer, and keep your eyes open. You never know where the next piece of vital intelligence might be hiding.